Scrolling down.
Well, you better stop because we're live.
Well, I'm only sharing.
Don't stop, actually. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever said. All right, gang, here we are.
Hey, hello.
Hello, everybody. We are back again with another episode of the Quarantine All-Stars. Learn from the best on house arrest. And in keeping with that title, our guest today, Lisha Antiqua, has, I think, the coolest title so far for her talk. Unstoppable Confidence, the Lockdown Breakthrough. Booyah!
There we go.
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like there's confidence in that title. And so you're going to be talking about confidence and you're bringing it already. So I like that. By the way, for you guys watching, I am killing time while I find the interview so that I can then share it to my profile.
I've already done it.
You've done it? Okay.
Not to your profile, but I've started a watch party on my profile.
Oh, watch parties are good. So, okay, cool. Give me 1 second. If you could please share this to my profile and start a watch party, that would be amazing.
Yes.
There we go. All right, it is on. We have a good vibe rolling already, don't we?
We do. Always.
We do. We do, darn it. Thank you for being on here with me.
You're so welcome.
I'm not surprised that you were generous enough to do it. And I love what you want to talk about. So today, what I've done so far in the past is I've kind of given this caveat about what led me to the program. And I don't know. Today it's feeling a little like, all right, I've done that 6 times already. So let's just jump in and let's just find out who you are and what you do and you know, that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm Lisha Antiqua. It's hard to pronounce my name. So it's Lish, like delicious, and Antiqua like furniture, right? And,
delicious furniture.
Delicious furniture. Old, unique, precious furniture. Yeah, although I'm not that old, but I'm not that young anymore, thank goodness. That's a blessing. This, like, where I'm at in this picture is just driving me crazy. So let me like.
It's like mirror image, and it messes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so you know what I am is I'm a transpersonal psychiatrist and a wellness professional, and I really have spent the last 30 years studying. Really how to be a human with the intention of helping people to step out of old paradigms and generational curses and, you know, like child abuse specifically, and break the cycles of trauma and break the cycles of abuse and really begin that internal trust of oneself. And it's come in many different facets, many different forms. I started off in my late teens as a yoga instructor, a fitness instructor. I got cancer in my early 20s, and I really went into medicine and nutrition and how to utilize nutrition and everything to really help that. So I became a nutritionalist and went back to school for medicine. I was going to be a naturopathic doctor, actually. And in that journey ended up in psychology, and it was easy. I understood it. It flowed. It was a natural gift and talent for me. So I continued to pursue that throughout my life.
Yeah.
And you know, so you know, that's what I do. I have a program. It's an award-winning program that really helps people rebuild their life, whether they got a divorce or their kids moved out of the house, or they went through something horrific early on in their life and they never had their life to begin with because they've been looking outside. And it's really my gift to the world. And through that program, I train yoga teachers in actually like hatha and hot yoga and ashtanga, like all these different formats, because I've studied them all. And in a therapeutic series to help people deeper than just regularly being on your mat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I train coaches now, and my school, Your Own University, certifies coaches. And so I'm kind of at the top of my game as far as programs and products.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You said something early on that really made me want to ask the question. What are your thoughts on how the unhealed stuff actually, is it healed? Is that the word? Anyway, the unhealed stuff that people might have is going to be manifested with the unique sort of circumstances of currently being required to, self-isolate or be on lockdown, or what was another way, shelter in place, which is a really sexy way of saying, don't move. I think it's going to be really challenging and interesting for people, depending on your level of sort of self-awareness, right? And for lack of a better word, the level of healing you've done so far. What are your thoughts on how this is going to show up for people?
Well, I don't really have any thoughts. I'm just watching what is showing up for people.
Okay.
Right? So this is really less of an opinion and more of like there it is. Fact.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I just want to say, like, this is what I've been looking at. And one reason why I came here to talk about unstoppable confidence.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fear coming up for many people.
Yeah.
And the fear comes from different places, from fear of what's going on outside, fear of the virus, fear of the government, fear of being isolated and alone. And no matter who you are, it's going to show up. I mean, it showed up for me.
Yeah.
And luckily, I know what I know. So I could come into myself and say, well, isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
And it came up for me as like, my love language is physical touch. My partner is literally in a gold mine, unable to leave. Luckily, he's working, like, praise God, right? Yeah. But they can't leave.
Right.
They're like stuck at work for who knows how long, right?
Right.
And I have teenagers in the house, right? But they're kind of volatile. And
you know what? That kind of touch it's not the same.
It's not the same. But yeah, and then there's that element, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I really had to get honest with myself and say, wow, like, this is really important to me. Yeah. Right? Going outside and giving my friends hugs did fill me up when I randomly ran into them at the store, right? Like, wow, that means so much more to me than I realized, right? Having that. And luckily, like, I put a post up and immediately one of my really acquaintances, but friends, like really a good friend of a good friend, right? Randomly called me and video chatted me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need. And being able to accept that is the video chat is the form of physical touch that we get right now, right? Yeah. The other thing is really asking for what I need. Luckily, there are other people in the house. So like yesterday, my oldest daughter, who's 16, right? She comes out, she's not touchy, like, at all, has never been. She's very like, this is my space and that is your space. Stay the hell out of my space. She was tiny. And I was like, can you just sit on my lap and give me a hug? Yeah. Like, I need this. This is for mom, right? Just do this. And she was so gracious and loving and like did. Now my touchy one, I think, was going through some of remorse and withdrawal as well, because I asked her and she was like, oh, really? And I was like, I think you're just mad. You need this as much as me. Come here and let me rub your arm, right? Yeah. So, it's about this deeper understanding that we get to know about ourselves. And it's about radical self-acceptance. And if you've been somebody who has kept busy to avoid looking at old patterns, to avoid feeling the pain or having the memory of certain events in your life, this time is going to bring up all of that, right? It's also going to be a time that things, I feel, this is my opinion, from watching how science works, watching how the nervous system works for decades, that this is a time where we will, if we don't deal with those feelings, if you don't have that support, if you don't figure out your way around it, if you don't remember that you already survived.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the most important thing. Like, please, everybody, if you take anything from this, you already survived all the shit that's coming up and you've been avoiding for years. You already survived, period. But if it doesn't manifest in emotions, it's going to manifest in, racing thoughts and memory and depression. If it doesn't do that, it's going to manifest as an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
Or the virus, right?
Yeah.
Low immunity. So how do you deal with that? How do you keep your immunity up? How do you keep your mind not racing? How do you keep all the shit that you've been avoiding?
Mm-hmm.
It's time to stop and get unscared by facing it. So get unscared of being quiet. I know for me, oh my gosh, it was so hard. Like, I was an type A personality. I was an overachiever. I am an overachiever. I gotta own it, right? And I also, I remember in my 20s actually I was in Denver when I realized this. I remember the moment I realized, wow, I was living alone for the first time, and I had a great apartment in downtown Denver, and I didn't go out that night. I don't know, like, my friends didn't want me out. I felt very rejected, even though I wasn't. But I remember thinking, I just can't be alone. I can't deal with this. When these flashbacks come up, at the time, I had really bad PTSD, high anxiety. I had just gotten through cancer and I was on my way to adrenal failure. So it was a volatile moment in my life in my early 20s. And I remember going, I can't. I need to stay busy. What am I going to do tonight? How am I going to distract myself from myself? Yeah. And when I realized that I needed a distraction from myself, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to start studying meditation. Like, this can't be. Like, this outside distraction has more power than I do in my life.
Yeah.
And that was really the beginning of the deeper journey of everything that I teach now.
So, I wanted to have you, what was it? I wanted to have you talk more about, well, I'm somewhat drawing a blank on what I was going to ask you. So let's just go into more about like we're going to be faced with ourselves now, right? Yeah. In a way that most of us have never had to sort of grapple with before. You could always, and I suppose to some extent, to play the devil's advocate, you can distract yourself by whatever. But I remember what I wanted to say. What I'm hearing from sort of all the high level thinkers, and I don't say that to be sarcastic. I mean, just like my mentors, their mentors, everybody has shifted into this mode of kind of like this different kind of service right now. And I really love this part of what's happening to all of us, or with all of us, or for all of us.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing people saying is the unified message that's coming to me is use this time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Use this time. There are parts of this thing that are too big to even think about trying to grapple with or control, or, so use the time. What are your thoughts on the importance of creating little rituals and routines? How do you think that's going to impact someone's unstoppable confidence for their lockdown breakthrough?
So I have different takes on this because
Okay.
there was a moment in my life where that routine, especially as a young mother, I mean, I wasn't really young. I was in my early 30s when I became a mother. Well, late 20s. I was 29, 29 and 31 when I became a mom. So I wasn't young, but when my kids were young, right, them being young, like that routine was mandatory for them and for me. When it comes to diet and nutrition, having that you're going to eat and this is much you're going to eat. And this is like right now in a time where the world is wondering how we're going to eat, how we're going to pay our mortgage, how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that. It's really important to tell our nervous system and our body, like, this is when you're going to eat. And I have to say, like, I've been failing at this. I'm still listening to but like that routine is really important for your physical body, right?
Yeah.
If you are a person that has never developed a blueprint, which is one thing that I teach in the Unstoppable Confidence group that I have, I did a 9-day series right before this thing hit to open up to my amazing year. And, it's like, yeah, it's time to like enroll people into your amazing year, right? It was just funny. But anyway, I did this event. It was going to be over and closed. And I'm just like, no, like right now is when people need to walk through these 9 steps and learn how to do that and develop your blueprint. So I can't do that in an hour here, but everybody gets a friggin' Facebook group. I put it on private so it could be private for the people walking through it live with me. So you got to ask to come into it now because Facebook won't allow me to go backwards.
Yeah.
But it's just Unstoppable Confidence event is the group. And we walk through how to create your blueprint. So the importance of that is to find out what works for you. Right. So if meditation works for you, that's the piece that you want to put in there. If meditation doesn't work for you, because sometimes meditation, depending on where you're at in your journey, can really trigger tons of shit, right? And bring it up. Yeah. So what does work for you, right? Figuring out other methodologies and other things. So maybe journaling works for you. I talk about this thing called blackout journaling, especially if a lot of stuff and anxiety is coming up where you're kind of deleting it as you're writing it. So you're seeing it, you're accepting it, and you're deleting it, and you're deleting it, and you're deleting it, right? But doing something for your mindset, doing something to lift your emotions. I know a lot of people are dancing. I am working out each day, which is something that honestly I haven't done consistently in a number of years because it became my personality. It became my identity. It got more power over me than I had over me. So I had to remove that from my life. It didn't mean I didn't go out and take massive hikes and like do yoga each week and stuff like that. But like my daily ritual of working out had to be expelled from my life because it was toxic.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but now I have a healthier relationship with my body, a healthier relationship with myself, and it's kind of mandatory. We're locked down.
Yeah.
Right. So I've added that back into my formula as something that I know really helps me create less stress in my life. Right. Essential oils and doTERRA is part of my formula, right? Because it lifts my mood. It brings peace to my senses. It helps me live in this space because, quite frankly, I'm locked in a house, me and 3 teenage girls.
Yeah.
15 and 16 years old, right? It's like friggin' rap music. Like, who is fucking rap? Excuse me, language. But
it's okay.
Like, it's like straight. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to this. Can you please turn that down? I want to play like frequency music and stuff, but that's not it. They have their own formula and it's all about things I don't want them to be thinking about. But at the same time, I respect their stage in life, right?
Yeah.
And being a teenager, I was there once. So if I say no to that, they're going to do something else and it's probably going to be worse. That said, also respecting what your family needs as well on the stage that they're at. I think that's really important. The people that you are around, if you're lucky enough to be around people. I know a lot of people are absolutely isolated and alone. And that's where, like, for that human connection, video chatting is such a blessing right now.
Yeah. So I'm still a little unclear though. Are you pro creating routine then? Because you said you had a little bit of a different take on it, and then you basically outline creating a routine.
Yeah. Um, I think it really matters to know yourself. Like I was saying, sorry, I didn't complete that. You're right. But for me, routine really, really works.
Yeah.
Really works. It doesn't stress me out. It gives me structure. Like I did baby wise with my kids. I love structure. I'm a structure plan person.
Yeah.
I like that. However, if I'm like, do it at this time and then I don't do that time, I don't meet that. Like the day doesn't flow that way. If something happens or I forget or I just don't feel like it at that moment, it creates anxiety and stress. It creates a story of not enough. It creates an old news story. And that's not beneficial for me. Right.
Yeah.
So I like to have formula, which is totally, if you don't have a formula, you're not sure of your formula, you have pieces of it, but not the whole thing. Like take the 9-day adventure with me. Go into the group, do it. It's my gift. But, you got to map that out. Now, if you're a person that loves structure, like a corporate worker, right? That has been lived and like go to work at this time and come home at this time and boom, 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 boom. And your body, your mind, your existence like thrives on that sense of control and dynamic, then by all means put that structure into place because that's going to bring you peace.
Right.
Right. But, you have formula. So as far as morning and evening rituals, I absolutely have mine. They're very much like lay in bed and meditate, set my intention, focus on me, tap into my gut, tap into my heart, tap into my mind, do that clarity piece. Nobody would even know that I'm doing it because I'm laying there in bed. I don't sit up and make this whole thing about it anymore. It's not a show for anybody else. And so, however it looks for you, like, don't judge yourself. But I would sandwich my day with some like intention and some like review and some gratitude.
Yeah. Some sort of deliberate, right? Like some sort of like anchoring period of, is it fair to say just deliberate focus? Because I know what you're getting at. I have a probably a step down version of if I create a routine and then I variate from it. I don't always, but I can sort of beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. And for me, I think it's about not just sort of becoming idle through the day. And you can do that just by making your thinking more deliberate, right? I know for me, one of the things that I experienced as this was all unfolding, and I think in California, we're getting to the point where there aren't going to be any new surprises. I think we're at the point now where we're just riding out what's happening. I don't know, but I think, and I hope. And by the way, apparently Washington has flattened out. They've flattened their curve. They're not growing anymore. New cases.
One of my dear friends is a doctor. He's a neurologist, and he did this whole graph, right, like on paper, and sent it to me like via email. And he's like, I just want to show you this. And it looked like from that graph, it really had flattened out here the last couple of days too in Alaska.
Good. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Can I give a shout out here? So thank you, Makiba. Thank you, Eugenia. Javier, Javon. Hello. Thank you, Steve, Lillian. I see you, Dan, Adam, Susie, Amanda. I see you, Heather. I see you, Amy. I see you, Danielle. I see you, Brian. I see you, Josh. I see you, Carrie. Love you guys. Thank you for watching.
So, good idea on the shout out. That's always a good idea to acknowledge people But
It's time. And this is a piece of your time. Like, who do you want to spend your time with?
Yeah.
What vibes do you want to vibe with? Right. So like watching your series is something I'm doing. I'm watching Kristen Gold's series. I was part of that last week. I'm surrounding myself with people that I want to watch. And watching their lives. I'm growing. I have a business thing that I'm doing, kinda.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really need to get more into that, but I'm actually quite busy doing this. I'm meeting and building relationships with people, right? That may be clients in the future, maybe not. Maybe they'll recommend me to somebody, whatever. But I'm building relationships with people from like an honest place of like, wow, like, what are you doing? How are you doing? What's going on, right? Not with like, I don't really work from an agenda. That might be part of my problem as an entrepreneur, because I'm really all about your self-expression and your truth and you following your heart and doing what's best for you. That's what my whole program is about. That's what everything is about, is finding that internal confidence and stepping into it, right? Being amazingly you, whatever that looks like. So I truly honor that. But this time is just a great time to build relationship, especially for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm continuing to serve and make offers. And why is because people's minds are going crazy, right? Like my genius and my impact is what they really need. And, I give so much away for free. I mean, I give tons away for free. But like at the same time, like if you can invest in yourself, if you can take these steps to hire a coach right now, to spend this time deepening yourself, whether it's in business or in your life, or clearing old patterns, or learning a new profession, right? Like getting a certification in something that you've been passionate about and putting off. Like if you have the means to invest in yourself right now and have this focus where somebody's holding your hand, somebody's leading you across a bridge that you've been standing on the other side going, wow, oh, I really want to be over there, but I just don't have the time. I really want to be over there, but I don't know where the money's going to come from. Right now might be a time to be like, well, how can I creatively invest? How can I be more bold and invest in this and utilize this time to better myself, right? And go forward. And so I'm making offers because this time is the time for internal inquiry. This time is the time to grow your confidence. This time is the time to step into your healthiest, best, and most amazing version, free of limitation of the past. This time is the time to heal your inner child, right? And so for me, the download that I got, the message I got in meditation is, if you don't make offers right now, right? Work with people. We have money stress and everything. Like I'm working with people more than ever right now, right? But if we don't make offers and this is your service right now, you are totally crippling all those people that God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is in your sphere. And if you're hearing offers and you have asked universe, God, whatever, to show you the way, and you're not stepping into that offer, you're still letting fear, story, history, make excuses for you, that outside power run you, then you're not taking advantage of this time where you do have quarantine, unfortunately, to better yourself in some way. So I'm bettering myself with my coach. I'm bettering myself in business. I'm following direction of spirit and doing my own thing. I'm serving massively and giving away tons of content in the Unstoppable Confidence event, because this is the time. So whether it's utilizing free content, jumping off that cliff and saying, I'm deep diving, I'm getting serious, I'm getting that one-on-one coaching, I'm taking this program, I'm taking this training, I'm doing whatever it is, and saying no more excuses. Now I have the time. Even like, in all honesty, like I never had, like, one of I mean, I've invested so much money in coaching programs and trainings. So much money. Like, I think it's like $250,000 or somewhere around there.
I feel like we just took a beat there.
I mean, it is. I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I mean, I still have debt from it. I still have debt. And even though I look at that education debt and marketing debt, and I believe in myself debt, debt doesn't feel good. It's still like,
Right.
bleh, right? But I look at it and I'm like, I am so that I did that. Right? Like, I am so happy that I invested that $20K in that person. Did I glean everything from it? Maybe, maybe not. Now is the time you can go back and do that.
Yeah, totally.
Now is the time that I could review that. I'm so happy that I invested in my education and I'm in my doctorate program, right? Now is the time I can focus on my doctorate program, right? Now is the time I can do that piece. I can really start owning it. I can put what I learned into practice from my master's, from my bachelor's, from whatever. A lot of people have school debt, right? I'm so happy that I invested in all of my coaches and everything. And sometimes it was paid off, right? Many times I have to say, it was like, thank you. Other times it's like this lingering thing, but I don't look at it as a waste of time. Like each and every step that I took to be who I am, to step into whether my business or my health and wellness. Like, I don't have PTSD. I say that with absolute love. If it comes up, I'm not scared of it either.
Yeah.
Right? I don't judge myself for it. But I used to have CPTSD, chronic, okay, like debilitating. No, that's what coaching, that's what helped me. I used to have cancer. I'm not dead. I used to have adrenal failure. I'm not even on thyroid pills anymore. My pituitary friggin' works, right? I was told I would never have kids. I have 2 beautiful girls, biologically. Let's see. I've been a serial entrepreneur my entire life in the same field, right? And I've invested a ton with coaches and stuff. And I learned so much about marketing and some of the things that I learned and spent $10,000 on for a course and coaching and everything. Like I worked with John Assaraf. I've worked with some major names in the industry. I've worked with incredible people and invested a shit ton of money in them. And what they taught me was outdated now. I still appreciate them because we grow, right?
Right.
So they helped me find my niche. I know I love video. I know I loved speaking. Like that's my thing. I'm a teacher.
So tie this in though. Tie this in for us to right now.
To right now, you have this time.
Yeah.
You have this time and you can let outside circumstances fear you, or you can find a workaround, right? And if there's a will, there's a way. I honestly believe that. Whenever I was like, how am I going to invest this money? Like, I did a huge training. It was the first thing I did for myself. It wasn't about school and education. I did a major training about femininity and about the divine feminine, about integrating that anyway. And it was $20,000. And I had like some savings, but it was going towards the siding on my house. It was already spent. And I had no clue what to do about it. I called my aunt and I called my people, right? I made those steps forward to do it. And then boom, I got a note in the thing. Oh, we just increased your credit rating and 0% check right here. And there was $20,000 literally to like the thing, $20K on my 0% credit card, right? That was a sign from universe, I think, for me to step into that. And if I didn't have that program in that year, it was 2015. I don't know how I would have gotten through 2016 because I had a major trauma in my life that brought massive healing to everything. I wouldn't have been able to do that. So what I'm saying is if there's a will, there's a way, right? And not necessarily work with me or anything. You can hire anybody, right? But if there's a will and you have had a calling on your heart, this is a time to boldly, confidently step into it. And part of it is creating your formula, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have a formula to rid the fear, to de-stress, to take care of yourself, if you're still looking on the outside to align with what's on your inside, then I invite you to the Unstoppable Confidence Event Group. If you've had childhood trauma that you're scared that's going to come up and you need that support, I invite you into that in group, and I invite you to message me. Like, message me, hey, this is coming up for me. We will find a way. If there's a will, we will find a way to work together, right? And go deep. Have that personal attention, right? If my free stuff isn't enough, right? And I have a lot of free stuff. But that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's a time to get curious about yourself. It's a time to fill your life with things that are going to build you up. It's a time to figure out what it is and where you are letting fear stop you. It's a time to look at that fear and say, I recognize you. I see you, fear. You're coming from the coronavirus and everything that's happening with that. We need to stay fuck inside. We need to respect what's happening. We need to love one another, right? It's not a hoax. It's not a whatever. It is happening, whether you believe conspiracy theory and all the rest of the layers. There are so many layers to what's happening right now.
Right.
I see them all. I'm a layer specialist. But, right? And they could all be playing out as far as I'm concerned. So if that fear is coming up, awesome. Utilize this to recognize what fear is for you. Utilize this to recognize that fear, is it the tiger chasing you, or is it something that you're projecting into the future and giving power over you? So
let's say you're alone, you're isolated now, you're required to stay in your house. You don't have a whole lot. You stumbled across this interview. You don't have a whole lot of maybe sophistication in the realm we're talking about. How do you start to even know if you're doing something like projecting things out into the world? Because I like that we took it to sky level, and now I want to take it to eye level.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, like, how does somebody that I just described start to get a toehold on what's even going on inside of them? Really, I think with the express sort of goal of not being overwhelmed by everything and starting to have strategies that can get you to this unstoppable confidence.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's start for that person.
Well, I think that I touched on it before, so we'll go back there. For many people, it shows up as giving your power away. Okay. And how you know when you give your power away is that thing, whether it's diet and nutrition, right? Counting your calories, making sure that you have just the right food and everything. Like, if that thing it builds anxiety. If it's not just so, it builds anxiety. It has more power. A lot of people can relate to it as addiction, right? That the substance, whatever the substance is, it could be a person. It could be fear itself. It could be emotion. It could be a thought, a story in your head. It could be, like for me, it really was fitness. So my body looking a certain way, which caused eating disorders in my teens, and probably a lot of my autoimmune disease and everything else that I went through. It was like catapult, and then turned into a healthy workout routine of 2 hours a day. And like, if I couldn't do it, I'd be like, right. And I attracted people in my life that saw my worth as my body, totally in agreements with me. Right. It hurt, but it was never enough. But that projection that I had, that relationship with working out that I had my worth, had my value, had my attention more than I had power over it.
So there's an element here where this hypothetical person I've just described is going to have to start being able to examine their own thinking. Is that right? And feeling too.
And actions. So it's 3.
Okay, so it's 3. This is good.
Thinking, feeling, and actions. You just observe. You just observe yourself. And this is one thing that we can all practice, no matter what level you think you're at. Like we can all practice in this quarantine, just observing yourself. Where am I giving my power? What am I allowing to take my power? And do I want it there?
Okay. And do we define power as where our focus goes and our attention? Okay,
attention, great. Worry, stress.
Worry. That's even better, I think. And I'm deliberately taking it, I'm deliberately reducing it down to the level of somebody who probably wouldn't even be watching this program. It looks like we are frozen. Well, guys, if I'm not frozen yet, then this is the first time I've had StreamYard freeze up on me. I guess I'll just rap to you guys for a little while, hoping Lisha comes back. So let me share with you then, assuming again, let me just check my own profile to see if I'm live. It looks like I'm live and Lisha is frozen up. Well, that is awkward, isn't it? Guys, if you could do us a favor. Oh, looks like she dropped out. Okay. If you could do me a favor and share this and give us some likes and hearts and thumbs ups and stuff like that if you appreciate what's happening here. And I will bring Lisha back on now. Let's see.
Yay!
You're back. Yay.
First it
went away, then you came back. Yeah, it did that screen thing.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we got to pop out of here and pop back in. It's not my first rodeo.
Right. So what I was doing was, first of all, I was asking people to please share and go ahead and give us some emojis. A funny thing about emojis, guys, if you're appreciating what we're doing here, it takes so little from you to help the algorithm know that we're providing something valuable.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just press the emoji button 10 or 20 times. It's this. This is all you have to do. And it helps us tremendously. And then if you really want to get crazy.
Very much. Thank you. You're welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie. If you really want to get crazy, press the share button. And you may have to actually hit 2 different things there. And I'm being playful here because it's so funny how stingy we are even when we're enjoying something. And again, still being playful. I'm not saying you out there are stingy, but I think that we're so conditioned to just sort of passively interact with social media that maybe a reminder that it really helps us. It really helps us if you help us to bring it to more people. If you help us to show the algorithm that we're appreciated, those things are tremendous. They really, really matter. So that having been said, we were reducing it down. And what I was starting to say to you was I realized that I'm reducing this down below the level of probably anybody tuning in. But I really want to break it down into irreducible steps. So we're starting to pay attention to our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions.
Yeah.
And this is how we know where we're letting our power go. Is that right? Do I have that right so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it draws our attention, or it for me, a lot of times it was my worth, like my ex-husband. Right. There's no way I was ever going to please this man. I attracted my mother.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't ever going to happen. Like, it's impossible, but it was like my mission in life, right?
Of course,
to do this perfect thing. And that was my own sickness, but, to be this perfect person. Well, that was me giving him my value and my worth.
Yeah.
Right. Say that you're a new entrepreneur and you're in that process of or an old entrepreneur for anything. Like, say that you're getting a lot of no's right now. Right. Oh, I can't right now. I will later. Oh, I can't right now. I can't right now. But whatever their story is. Right. If you make that worth, if they are your value, your product, your value, if that becomes the value of your stuff, like, you're giving your power away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now, going from recognizing that, now we've got a handle on that. We know what to look for. what's the one thing we can do first and most powerfully, if those are one and the same, to start building some self-confidence?
The first thing to do is really ask yourself, is this where I want to put my power? Right? Is this where I want to put my attention? Is this where I want to put my worry? Is this worth it?
Yeah.
Right? Because there are things that we need to worry about.
Yeah.
Right? I have 3 teens to feed. Like I need to make sure that they're really, they don't know how to ration.
Right.
Like at all. I bought a big box of the yogurt imminent, like chocolate, yummy popsicle things.
Yeah.
15 of them in that box. How long did it last? 1 day.
We have the exact same situation over here, by the way.
One day.
Exact same situation.
I'm like, I can't go back to the store, girls. Right? And now I don't get any.
Right.
So there are some things to worry about, right? So is this worth my worry? Yeah. And if it is worth your worry, if it is worth your stress, how can I take back my control? Right? Mm-hmm. So 1, I had a conversation with them. Look, this is what we're learning in this time. This quarantine is going to teach you how to ration, and I'm going to have to divvy these up. Yeah. The next time, either I'm going to take this control, which I don't want to do, or you're going to have to learn how to control yourself. I understand this is beyond teen years control. Yeah. Teens don't have that control. Like literally, like our brains aren't wired that way yet. We don't get it till we're in our 20s. So, with compassion, the other piece that I did was I'm like, okay, I have to understand where they're coming from. Yeah. Right. I have to understand that there's a virus out there and that there is fear, and there are people that can get sick. There are people that are autoimmune diseases and compromised and so forth and so forth. And there's a responsibility that I have to be respectful, and what control can I have? So figure out where you can have control, where you can be in charge, where you can take back some of your power, and really allowing the places that you're not in charge, like somebody else's actions, right? How much money is coming in, when your job's going to open up, all these uncertainties that we have right now, and saying, I'm going to be okay with that being where it's at. Yeah. Right. Really creating that peace. And then as far as the event and stepping into the confidence, it's about developing this muscle of self-awareness. It's about developing this muscle of not being scared of looking at yourself. It's about developing this muscle of reclaiming your power from things that are still taking it in the past, things that are literally programmed in your nervous system, usually childhood stuff, and beginning to, 1, educate yourself about it, and 2, remember, again, back to what I said in the beginning, remember that you already survived. And if one formula doesn't work, if everyone's saying meditate, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, hell no, I'm not going to meditate. My mind races like crazy. I don't know how to shut it down. I'm freaking driving me crazy, right? Either hire a meditation coach or me, right? Right. Or do something else. Start doing brain dumps, right? To get all those thoughts out of your head, right? So doing that. So hello, Amy. Hello, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us over there. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for showing up. Richard. Hey, Dickie. Thanks for showing up. Alina, thank you. Becky, thank you. Jenny, hi, love. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. Don't know if you want me to tell you what you do. But anyway, I'd hire her. Wally, thank you. Thank you, Eugenia. Love you, Dan. Bristol, beautiful. Adam, thank you for joining me here. Susie, Amanda, yes. Maria, oh my gosh, I love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. And yeah, just lift up your life, call people, decide where you want to put your time. So that's where the rituals are going to come in place. What do you enjoy? Leaning into pleasure. Do you have a problem with pleasure? We talk about that a bit more. Anyway, I could talk on this for
right. Yeah.
forever. That's why I have 9 hours of content for you in the Unstoppable Confidence event group.
Well, and I'm definitely finding myself being very judicious about what parts of what you talk about I pull out and open up, because I know that this could go much, much deeper. We don't have that luxury today. What I want to do then is formally let you invite people to join is it the program exactly, or a group?
No, it's inviting you into your amazing year or coaching with me privately. Because I really work in a format to help you bring the pieces of yourself together and then present them to the world in an amazing way. Okay. And so I call it Amazing You. And I've been doing it for 10 years. And then it's the basis for all my trainings and everything, right? So it's a scientifically based, beautiful program to help you go from stuck and unknowing and insecure and feeling really woo-woo and out of control, having other things, even yourself, uncontrolling yourself, your body, your health, your wellness, your mindset, right? All those things being like, even your spiritual gifts, like running the show, to being in control and healing old things and cutting patterns. So anyway, it's an invite to that event. I want to be just straight with everybody. Like through this program, through this event, like I was inviting people in to work with me in this group program that I'm starting later now because of this epidemic. Perfect. So you will learn that. But what you're going to get through this process is really like a deep dive as we walk through specifically self-esteem. Okay. Because that's one of the biggest gifts that I give my people. When I looked at what people wanted and what I can offer, right? What I've historically been able to deliver. This was the sweet spot in the middle. So this is the program, and it's 9 days. And you start on unit 1 in the group. So just ask to be a part of the group, Unstoppable Confidence event on Facebook. You know, it's a private group, so you can ask questions and be authentic and share your heart and soul there, and not the whole world will see. But at the same time, you know, you start with unit 1, get the workbook, and go through all 9 days. Spend an hour a day, spend 2 hours a day, spend a whole day, go through all 9 hours, and you're going to you're going to go through this unveiling of your confidence, a deeper journey. And then I'm having deeper conversations of emotional intelligence and other pieces in that group right now. We're going even deeper just as free content while we're in this time. And like I said, building relationship. And then if you do feel like this is your time to move into your amazing year, then by all means, there's nothing stopping you joining the community and being on my calendar all year and being part of my focus and allowing me to hold that space for you as you discover just how amazing you are. Because oftentimes we're scared that we're going to find that we're really shitty. Yeah. Right. That we're not enough. Like everything was really true. And that's just a lie. But I help people to face that fear and discover their amazingness.
Love it. I want to thank you for taking the time today. That was
thanks, you guys.
That conversation was grabbing a tiger by the tail.
Yeah, everybody's watching like Tiger Man or whatever. I don't even know the name of it.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
So it's all about tigers. Manny, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I'm doing one of my things on my list is doing your video program and thing that you offered in my video at your own university. Yeah. And so I'm like going through that and the emails and everything, and I'm learning so much about branding and marketing authentically and joyously that I just, I want to plug you. Because I really am. And I've taken, like I said, I've studied with some of the best, supposedly, and they're incredible, amazing people. Totally worth every penny invested with them. But I'm learning so much just from your free content, and
I love it.
Absolutely love your take on things. And so thank you for that.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow. I don't know offhand who the guest is, but they've got a tough act to follow.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.